Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Another episode of the Steelers Chat. I say this every week, but this week we have another special guest. We have Mr. Kelcy Dotson. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You may be familiar with the name, father of Kevin Dotson of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but this man right here has been coaching for years. And I don't want to intro you. I want you to kind of intro yourself here a little bit. Tell the people where you're from. And he's also a long time Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
I've been still a fan my whole life, entire life. I grew up in Mississippi. Went to Raging Cajuns, playing football in Louisiana. Um, been coached football over 20 years, and other sports also. I know a good bit of defense, good bit of offense. Coach my sons throughout their career all the way into college. So I'm very, diverse.
hmm So, just with that alone, I'll just take your coaching experience and can you tell me? We'll go back to last week. Let's just start against the Ravens. What could that team have done besides stopping the run? Like obviously, but what more could they have done? Because just didn't exist.
Well, as a true Steeler fan, a lot of times I go back and watch the games over and up to see actually what my son does or was doing right and wrong, and what the team does. I've been doing this even before he was drafted to
Mhm.
see what we're not doing good. So as I watched that game, actually I was watching it on the defense. We're getting beat off the line,
Mhm.
and we're also messing up assignments. We have a gap, and then we come out of the gap, and then another guy comes into the other gap. He's supposed to be in, and they're blowing assignments on the line with line and linebackers, and they're getting beat off the line physically.
Do you think there's like a communication error going on defense? I know sometimes it just looks like last minute things are happening, like last second things and placements and
I
signals
think
and balls.
there are some communication issues, like for example, if a lineman is in the A gap, and for some reason he gets out of the A gap and he gets in somebody else's gap, they leave that gap open. And sometimes it happens a little late than it's supposed to happen. So it is some communication issues there. But I also think it's some coordinating issues,
Mhm.
um, to my opinion, because sometimes they're like the Baltimore Ravens had us outnumbered a number of times on the strong side and sometimes on the weak side. And so that means they are creating more gaps than we can cover. So if they create more gaps than we can cover, by having that fullback or tight end or extra lineman, if they're not lined up right, we're always gonna get beat.
Yeah, I mean, and going into this week with Carolina, Foreman has been doing a good job of running the ball. They have the other guy, the other running back slips my mind right now. I just don't know how we fix it. I know they
Well, I
tried.
tell you this, what I also seen was that people notice when we have three linebackers in the game, and that was supposed to be on running downs. A lot of times first and tens, second and eights, those running downs, and they tend to try to pass the ball because
Mhm.
they know we have three linebackers in it. Sometimes we played nickel to two tight end set, and I didn't understand that because they run the ball with our dime and nickel packaging. So I mean, we only have one linebacker in, and they got tight ends and fullbacks in. So we really outmatched.
We outmatched, and then I at the end of the game when I look and I see that Minka Fitzpatrick is leading the team in tackles on defense, it irks me because I feel like that shouldn't be the case, and it is the case. It was the case a lot last year, and it's becoming that as the year kind of progresses. I loved seeing Miles Jack leading the team in tackles in the beginning of the year and
Right.
in every game. Like that's to me, that's the way it should be. But when your free safety is leading, I have a problem with that.
Our linebackers are not playing up to their standards, as I can see. But it's also just not them. the linemen are getting are not letting the linebackers run. The offensive linemen are getting up on the linebackers. And when I used to play linebacker, I can attest to that. Those big linemen are getting to me before I can get to that spot. It's going to be a long night, you
Yeah.
know. So those linemen got to do a better job of creating double teams, so the linebackers can be able to flow.
They're definitely not feared. They're just not feared. And that's what I don't understand. I mean, you have the threat with TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, who's been having a really good year, those outside linebackers, and they're just running through the middle. Like, we don't care about your outside linebackers.
Yeah,
We
our inside linebackers are not respected
Yeah,
this year.
it's crazy. So you told me you were a lifetime Steelers fan. How do you become a lifetime Steelers fan from Mississippi? How does that happen?
I think it comes from my uncle. My uncle was a diehard Steelers fan when I was growing up, and ever since probably the age of 4 or 5, when I had my first Steeler helmet in Jersey, and pretty much never looked back. So my children ended up growing up Steeler fans also. So that kind of made it a lot easier when he was drafted by the Steelers. We had everything Steelers. We've been Steelers our whole life.
How does that feel like having that phone call and knowing like Mike Tomlin's on the other side of the phone?
It was really exciting. I tried not to be too excited when I heard him on the phone. I knew it was Mike's voice, and so he was talking to Mike, and Mike was asking, was he ready to be a Steeler, and we were all excited about it. So it's even to this day, even though this is year 3, I still look out there and see him out there, and I'm like, son's really playing for the Steelers. He's a starter. He's got that black and yellow on, and it is a dream come true.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can't even imagine. I know my dad would like me to be in the Steelers jersey out there. He'd be proud of me. But it's not good. But one thing I will say, and I was really confident going into this game with Baltimore that the Steelers were going to run the ball. And in the second half of that game, or pretty much after the quarterback switch, like highly stopped running the ball. What did you think was going into the offensive scheme for them to kind of just abandon the run like that?
I look at this the players because when I was a coach in football, we always said to myself, it's more about the player than it is about the play.
Hmm.
Now, our running backs, if you look at all 3 running backs that we have, Najee, Warren, and Snell, they are downhill power type runners. If you go back and look on the film, whenever we run power or strong blocking, we get yards 3, 4, 4, 3, 5. But whenever we do zone, nothing.
Hmm.
They are not zone runners. Our linemen are not zone blockers. They are downhill blockers. They would if you watch what they do in power and stuff like that, that we get yards. Most of the time when they get stopped in the back because the hole open and it closed back up because we haven't hit the hole yet.
Hmm. Not fast
So
enough, fast enough.
so the coordinator needs to see, okay, the hole's closing up when you're watching film. So we are getting all these yards on downhill runs, 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards. He has to see this is what we do good and stop trying to do everything else. And also I see as a football coach, we don't have plays or audibles.
Hmm.
We don't have plays to get out of a bad play.
Yeah.
And I don't see what level of NFL that you would not have an audible to get out of a bad play. I
Yeah.
don't I don't get it. Why can we not have an audible to get out of a bad play? When Ben
Yeah,
was there,
it's
Ben
really
did
weird.
Ben did he audible, but now they don't let him audible. They don't have a play. No, most
That
plays are
is
supposed to be counteractive. Like you run this play, then you'll run a play that looks just like that play, but it's not the same play. So now the team has to look for 2 or 3 different plays.
Yep.
But I've heard all kind of stories that everybody's calling our plays out every week. They're telling us that.
Yep, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, especially when you hear it on TV, like they're running the same stuff.
Right.
And I don't know if it's just um them allowing Matt Canada to have complete control of the offense, if them just not trusting the new guys on the team. Because I mean, the only veteran quarterback on this team is Mason Rudolph. I
Right.
don't know if they give him, if for some reason he gets the start or gets to play on Sunday in some capacity, if they give him more leeway to call audibles. I don't know. I think like Kenny's first game, I think he called it audible. I don't know if I can't remember if he's done it since. I'm sure he's done it at some point, but they just don't have the freedom to do it. And I go back to when Ben was struggling with this offense, and I really took it to heart about the OC, and a lot of people didn't. People wanted to blame Ben and his age, but Ben knew how to get these guys the ball. If you look at his 2-minute drills, if you know look at
Right.
the no huddle offense, Ben was making it happen. And I feel like that up tempo thing is kind of where we succeed, but we don't do it often.
Right.
We don't do it often. So, what do you see being some of the keys for this team coming into Carolina?
It starts up front always. The D line has to establish the line of scrimmage. Linebackers have better make plays on the run. Um, I think the secondary is going to be fine, but on the offensive line, we got to run. We got to run power. We got to run downhill more. We can't keep running these zone plays.
Mhm.
Um, Wide receivers got to work hard to get open. Sometimes they're not getting open. Some of them are, but I look at some of the routes that we're running when they're in man to man. Those routes are so easy to cover. They just run a stop route or a curl route. Those routes are so easy to cover in man. If you're in man to man, you should have something crossing the field or making somebody catch up with a receiver. If we all line up 4-on-4 and we just run stops and curls, those guys like Baltimore are gonna be right on you.
Yeah.
We got to, that's part of the coordination too. If you say they're in man, then you should have routes for man. If you say they're in zone, then you can run the stops and find the holes in the defenses and stuff like that. That's part of, to me, that's part of coordinating. And I say this one time before, when you got Myles Garrett on the end and you got a first year or second year tackle on 3rd and 15 and you leave him by himself against Myles Garrett, that is putting that kid in a
That's a
bad
recipe for
situation.
disaster. Yeah. You
It does,
can't
for,
do
for
that.
anybody almost, even all
Yeah.
pro guys. You don't want to put him against Myles Garrett 1-on-1, 3rd and 15.
Yeah,
I
absolutely
mean,
not.
so
That's
that's
where
part of
this is where this
coordination.
man makes his money. Like you
Right.
just you can't do it. I'm laughing, but it's not funny because when it's happening, this man makes his money off big splash plays like that. So you cannot do that with a Miles.
So I think the coordinating is a major problem on both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
And
and you
special
got
teams also. We've been our special team has been terrible for years, no matter who we put back there, who we get. I think he's been there too long. We need to get a little new juice in the special teams also.
So yeah, special teams did not impress me at all last week. I was actually kind of giving them their flowers. They had I keep calling Presley Harvin had a great punt at the end of the Atlanta game. He had some pretty good punts in the Atlanta game, but that 40-yard punt with the
No,
ball,
it was
yeah,
17
that
yards.
I mean, yeah, it hit at the 40, I think, or around the 40, but yeah, it was only 17 or so.
Yeah, that
It
was
was
terrible.
it was bad. So yeah, and of course the block field goal from Boswell. And we saw I think all he had was an extra point. He was an extra point, and he didn't have any made field goals on Sunday. It was pretty low scoring that game, which I anticipated anyway.
Right.
But
Always.
I was super disappointed in special teams because off a leg alone, we could have won that game. I
Right.
wasn't, and I'm the one that was not that mad at Mitch. Like I understand the interceptions, I get it, I completely get it. But 22 for 30, 200 and what is it, 76 yards? I can't even be mad at it because you're not running the ball. Like, what do you think is
Right.
going to happen if you continuously are throwing the ball? These defenses are ready for it. You ain't running. You're not giving them anything interesting to look at. You're going to throw
Yeah.
it. And who are you going to throw it to? You're either going to get it to, try to get it, force it to DJ or Pickens. And that's pretty much what they've been doing. And they figure out unique ways. I don't know why they don't use Pat Frymuth more, but they did catch him in the end zone. But the damage pretty much had been done at that point.
And I think also that we need to use no, our receivers are not being used adequately. I think 14 needs to get the ball, get more targets.
Hmm. Yeah,
Because he's showing you that
he
he
can
can
get
make
open.
tough catches.
Yeah,
So give him the ball.
give him the ball. He can get that separation. I mean, he was working Marlon Humphrey on Sunday. I was
Right.
so proud and actually a little shocked to see it. I was like, "Hey, they're gonna tussle, go back and forth, but he was getting that separation from Marlon, making Marlon look silly out there. So just that alone, I think should he should be rewarded with more attempts and more balls looking his way. But then you
Because
have
when we had Antonio Brown, the ball was given to him a whole lot. You
yes.
know, he's making plays, 14 making plays, they need to give him the ball. I mean,
Yeah.
they can give it to him on a hitch. I mean, just something quick. I mean, let him make a play. You don't
I
have to be down
agree.
the field every time.
I agree. And Sims is another guy. He has a lot of speed. I just hate how they use him. I
Right.
feel like we could use him better. We can use his
But
speed a lot
that
better.
goes again to the coordination.
Hmm.
When you're coordinating offense and you see what other people are doing against you, you got to make adjustments. We don't make adjustments.
Hmm.
And if these people are good at this, we need to try to find a way to get something that they don't do well. And that's what I see a lot of times that we're not adjusting. A lot of times on either side of the ball.
Yeah. Sounds so sad. It's been a rough year. When's the last time you remember the Steelers just not being overall? I mean, actually, they've been not good teams, but they've found a way to win and make it in the
Right.
playoffs, in my opinion. But like, when's the last time you kind of was just like, yeah, this ain't my squad ain't performing well.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I can't really recall it personally. I don't remember the last time in my time watching the Steelers, we haven't been like, in my opinion, this bad. So this is new for me. So I'm acting accordingly. I know how some of these other organizations feel now. I'm in the basement. It's
Yeah,
kind of
but I really do think that the coordinators on both sides of the ball, because I came into the season thinking the defense was going to be off the hook
yeah.
with
I think
everybody
it.
we had on defense. Even
Hmm.
when TJ now, we hadn't did nearly what I thought we would do on defense this year. But again, we don't blitz like we used to. We used to be called Blitzburg.
Yes.
We don't blitz Holly ever.
I remember how they used to use like Mike Hilton, even like,
Right?
not even that far
Yep.
long ago. And that's why I was so high on Arthur Millette this year. I thought they were going to use him more in the blitz packages. When I saw it week 1, I was like, yes, I'm excited. We're gonna be doing some things on D, but they don't. They have not. And I thought like bringing in Flores was definitely going to be another boost to the defense, and making it even more special. But it has fell flat.
I think we
Last,
need to use offensively. We need to use more double tight ends. We need to bring in extra linemen to try to run the ball. Because a lot of
yeah, I
times we
mean
bring
Pat's
extra
good at
linemen
catching the
in.
ball, but he ain't the best blocker. So we got to work on that.
Yeah, we just got. I think we just got to make it a point to run like the Ravens do.
Yeah,
They find a way to run the ball, and
yeah,
that's why they're good at it because they find a way to do it.
yeah,
And
and
they work downhill. They don't do the zone. Even though they run a lot of option, it's still straight down. It's not side to side football. It's downhill football, and all our guys can do that down the hill. Najee is the only one that can kind of go sideways in the zone. but the other ones, they are downhill runners.
Yeah,
So let
yeah.
them go downhill.
Straight straight at you. And
Right.
that was, one thing I like previously, like, James Conner, he was like that too.
All right. We get movement. Whenever we have trade down, double team, we get movements. But a lot of times they try to do zone and stuff, and then by the time we get movement, then the hole closes up.
Yeah. Do you have a quick prediction for this week against the Carolina Panthers? What you think? Well, how you feeling?
I would probably say it's going to be, since we hadn't been really scoring, and I think it's probably going to be a running game. So I would say 17-21, no, 17-20 Pittsburgh.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna hold you to that. We'll we'll have to catch up after the game. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I enjoyed having you on and just like getting that football knowledge. Really talking X's and O's. I think.
I really love doing it. Like I said, I coached for over 20 years, and I watch football, and I look at the schemes, and I look at what we're doing, and I kind of have an educated idea of what we should be doing or should not be doing, even though I'm not an NFL coach, but I know when things are not done right.
Right.
So I'm not just one of those fans out there that's throwing rocks at the quarterback or throwing rocks at the lineman. I know what's going on most of the time.
All right. So you get a phone call tomorrow. Coach T calls and says, "Hey, we need you on the sideline to coach." What you gonna say?
I'm out yesterday.
All right, we're gonna make that happen. I'm gonna make some phone calls and we'll get you on the sideline. We're gonna get you a headset, all of that.
I'll
Okay.
be there yesterday.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining me. I'll be in touch. And tell the family I said hello.
Thank you. Go Steelers.